Tonight, where we are today and pain from the war felt here at home. Also a push to flip Wisconsin's legislature. The national attention drawn to local races. And we're following Hurricane Milton as it strengthens into a Category 5, where it'll hit and the extreme conditions surrounding the storm. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Thank you for joining us. It's been 365 days of intense conflict in the Middle East. Last October 7th, the terrorist group Hamas attacked Israel. And for many right here in Madison, the war has meant a year of fear and grieving. Our Maddie Himes joins us now with those stories. Maddie?
Yeah, the overseas conflict may be across the globe, but for many students at UW-Madison, the loss of family members and loved ones has been at the center of their world.
We are a small people with a lot of interaction between here and the state of Israel. So we have many, many people who have a personal relationship, that they've lost loved ones or know of people who've lost loved ones.
Greg Steinberger is the president and CEO of Hillel, the Jewish student organization at UW-Madison. He's been working with Jewish students on campus for 25 years.
Over the last 365 days, this has been probably the hardest time to support Jewish students.
Surrounded by photos of people who were taken hostage in last fall's attack and a growing tally of days passed in the war,
the days of captivity.
Steinberger tells me students continue to feel the effects of the conflict right here on campus.
I got calls last night from folks who said, I'm having trouble sleeping. I have such anxiety. I'm worried about the hostages. I'm worried about what tomorrow brings. Will there be demonstrations, counter demonstrations?
According to the Anti-Defamation League, there have been more than 10,000 anti-Semitic incidents since October 7th of last year, the highest number the league has recorded since they first started collecting data in 1979.
I think supporting students for us today means also helping them deal with domestic issues of anti-Semitism.
Hillel has been providing therapists and group sessions for students, but Steinberger says with a diverse student group at UW, everyone could use the support.
And we hope this year is a better year than the last year.
The UW-Madison Jewish community plans to gather on campus tonight at 8 to remember the victims who lost their lives last October 7th.
Maddie, thank you. Switching gears, let's get a look at the first warn forecast. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington out on the weather patio. Alex?
Yeah, Armand, sun basking out here just a little bit as we have a bit of our sunshine left here for at least a little bit more here this evening. It's a beautiful evening out there. 63 degrees at our Upland Hills sponsored Skycam, looking at a beautiful Capitol image. West-northwest winds at 6. I barely feel that at all out here. It's going to be a wonderful night across southern Wisconsin, although it's going to get a little bit on the chilly side as we plan the rest of our evening. As we head towards the late evening, Jacob will be doing the 10 o'clock show with temperatures around 50. Here in Madison, I'm expecting a low temperature about 42, but areas towards the north and towards the west, our friends up towards Juneau, Adams, Marquette, Green Lake counties, you might sneak the mid to upper 30s, and that's just enough, just cool enough to bring the potential for a little bit of frost with the frost advisory until 9 o'clock. Tuesday morning, we got a warm day on Tuesday, but what day this week will be the warmest? The latest on rain chances, and we're going to talk about some hurricane science as we track Hurricane Milton in a few minutes.
All right, Alex, thank you. And after making his fourth stop to Wisconsin in just 9 days, former President Trump stopped in New York today to commemorate the October 7th attack. While in Wisconsin, Trump spoke out against the Biden and Harris administration's work on the economy and criticized the government's support of those affected by Hurricane Helene. In New York, the former president did not speak as he visited the final resting place of Rabbi Schneerson, one of the more influential rabbis of the 20th century. Trump had planned a visit to speak at a roundtable at the Latino Summit tomorrow, but that has been canceled ahead of Hurricane Milton. And as former President Trump takes a rest from his Wisconsin visits, President Joe Biden will be in Milwaukee tomorrow. There he plans to discuss his administration's progress in replacing lead pipes in Wisconsin and across the country. President Biden's administration says this stop is not a campaign stop for the Harris-Walz ticket, but a White House event. And the First Lady of Minnesota will be adding to the list of political stops in Wisconsin. With just 29 days to the election, Mrs. Walz will stop in Beloit and Madison on Wednesday, with her Madison stop landing somewhere around noon. This marks her 6th and 7th campaign stops in the state since her husband, Governor Tim Walz, joined the Harris ticket. And while Democrats are campaigning for the top of the ticket, there are many local legislative races that are also drawing national attention. Political reporter Will Keneally has more. Will?
Well, you wouldn't necessarily expect a district of around 60,000 Wisconsinites that would be on a national radar. But a handful of key Wisconsin Assembly and Senate districts are part of a game plan to flip the state legislature. Now, we caught up with the people working behind the scenes to try and make that happen. Let's take you back. It's a hot summer day during the Democratic National Convention. All the buzz is around who will be the big speaker that night. But in a quiet corner of the convention center, a group of Democrats met with the goal of gaining ground in the Wisconsin state legislature for the first time in more than a decade.
We're excited about what's happening in Wisconsin. Obviously, new maps, new opportunities. Wisconsin is an incredible battleground state and one of our targets this year.
That's Heather Williams. She runs the national effort to elect Democrats in these small districts. This 14th district north of Madison, for example, that's on her national radar. Democrats think they have a better shot this year than they have in a while because the state Supreme Court drew new district lines, which puts more seats in play for them.
Wisconsin has been really incredible because despite really gerrymandered maps, they have continued to create a lot of energy around the opportunity, the future opportunity. We're really excited about the leadership coming out of that state.
One of those leaders is Greta Neubauer. She's the top Democrat in the state assembly.
We know that people who show up to vote for Assembly Democrats will vote for the rest of the ticket. And so we see our role as critically important in helping ensure that voters understand their role in all of this.
She says these down-ballot races can be decided by a few hundred votes, so voters' voices carry a lot of weight.
Voters have a huge amount of power in our state to decide the Assembly majority, to decide several important congressional and, of course, our Senate seat.
They're hoping that an energized Democratic base helps both those candidates running for state assembly as well as the top of the ticket.
People can't just go and vote for the president, which is very exciting. They've got to go right all the way down to their state assembly and state Senate race, and that will be really critical as people are thinking about their vote in the fall.
Yeah, so why these local state assembly and Senate races are so important, these are the lawmakers that help determine things like abortion regulation in Wisconsin and help set things like school funding for your local schools.
All right, Will, thank you. Middleton police are searching for someone who they say robbed the Amber Cuisine on University Avenue last night. Officers were called out to the restaurant where employees said a man came inside and took a tip jar from the counter. When employees tried to stop him, he reached into his pocket saying he had a gun, but a gun was not shown. He then left and got into a vehicle. Details of that vehicle were not given. Anyone with information is asked to call Middleton Police at 608-824-7300. And a man who collected hundreds of thousands of dollars as part of a scam ring for victims, including at least one in Wisconsin, is now in police custody. Columbus police say that 24-year-old Jay Sureshbhai Prajapati of Atlanta, Georgia, coordinated with a scam caller to collect $60,000 from an 80-year-old woman in Columbus. The bank questioned the woman, determined it was a scam, and was able to coordinate with police for the arrest. After investigating further, officers found the suspect collected nearly $250,000 from elderly people around the country over the last few months. He's now being held in the Columbia County Jail and is charged with felony receiving or concealing stolen property. According to a new survey from Wisconsin's Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection, or DATCP, over 40% of private wells for drinking water contain pesticides. The survey started in August of last year and looked at 380 random wells. Concentrations of pesticide were a little more than 1% higher than a 2016 survey and 9% higher than in 2007. DATCP found that higher pesticide and nitrate concentrations were more often found in areas with more cultivated land. And 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer at some point in their lives, and that risk has gone up by nearly half since 1980. This month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the Wisconsin Well Woman program is connecting eligible women with free breast exams, mammograms, and other diagnostic tests. You may be eligible if you have no insurance, have a high deductible, or your income is at or below 250% the federal poverty line. You can find more information on how to sign up on the Wisconsin DHS website. It's also Fire Prevention Week, and this year's spotlight is the importance of working smoke alarms. The Madison Fire Department says that 3 out of every 5 deaths happen in homes without working smoke alarms or without any at all. On the City of Madison Fire Department page, they offer 3 tips for smoke detector safety. Install. Make sure your alarms amper-proof as a long-lasting battery, and research how many alarms your home needs. Test your alarms at least once a month and replace. You should replace alarms when they are 10 years old or the test button no longer works. And our Coats for Kids drive has wrapped up for this year, and we're so thankful for everyone who helped donate. As of right now, we're at 2,776 coats. But Clean Cleaners is still counting and cleaning coats from the final weekend, and we're waiting on our tally from our Amazon wish lists. We'll have that grand total in the coming days, and if you are in need of a coat or winter gear, our distribution event is on the 25th. You can find those donations under this story on channel3000.com. And the Best of Madison Taste Party is just about an hour from starting, and the event celebrates winners of the Best of Madison poll. Our Jalen Banks joins us now from the Edgewater Hotel with one of the event's vendors. Jalen?
Good evening, Armand. I am joined by Kaya Freeman from Roth Cheese. You guys are here, part of the Taste Party. Just tell us a little bit about Roth Cheese.
Sure. Roth Cheese, we're based out of Monroe, Wisconsin. We're a proud winner of Best of Madison this year in the bronze, and we are an award-winning cheesemaker. We're known for our Alpine-style cheeses, our Havardis, and our Goudas, and we are very proud to be one of the world champion cheesemakers based in Wisconsin as well.
Awesome, awesome. So tonight's theme is game show. So right now, for a few seconds, we're going to play Guess That Cheese, or in my case, let's see how Wisconsin you are. So I'm going to try this cheese at the top and see if I can guess what type of cheese it is. Okay, I don't want to chew too much in the mic. I'm going to go with, is it a Gouda maybe?
This is an Alpine-style cheese. It's our signature cheese. It's our Roth Grand Cru, made in copper vats in Monroe, Wisconsin.
I'm going to try one more, and then I'm going to kick it. I'm going to try one more and kick it back to Armand. All right, this one is a little bit chewier.
Name the flavor.
Flavor?
Trending.
Mm-hmm. It's probably something spicy. No?
Close.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Gouda for that one. The spicy Gouda.
That is a dill Havarti. Very close.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm losing on the game show front, and I guess I'm really not that Wisconsin since I couldn't figure out the cheeses, but Kaya, thank you so much. Congratulations on, you guys' accomplishments. But for now, I'm going to kick it back to you, Armand. Reporting live at Edgewater Hotel, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
Don't worry, Jalen. It's not that easy being cheesy. All right, thank you. And just ahead after the break, we take a look at the first warn forecast and the unseasonably warm temperatures. And as communities pick up the pieces from Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton races across the Gulf to batter Florida again. Stocks finished lower today with inflation uncertainty after a positive jobs report last week. The Dow closed nearly 400 points down. The Nasdaq lost 214 and the S&P 500 down 55 points. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, brought to you by Cardinal Heating and Air Conditioning.
The kindness, the efficiency, the respect was amazing.
From start to finish, they will take care of you.
I never hesitate with family, friends, neighbors to recommend Cardinal, and nobody has come back to me and said I was wrong.
When my husband got throat cancer, it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a financial one for my family, and that's something rural families know all too well. Joan Ballwig voted against expanding affordable health care for rural families and against bringing drug costs down. And that's one reason I decided to run against her. I'm Sarah Kieski, and I'm running for state senate. Because when someone you love needs medical care, the last thing you should have to worry about is how to pay for it.
With Sweeto Metal Roofing, you get quality metal roofs installed by the best in the business. A metal roof means no fading, no storm repairs, true sustainability, and lower energy bills.
Sweeto Metal Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
4 years ago, in this alley, rioters threw a brick at my face and knocked out my teeth. Why? Because I was a police officer. And what did Kamala Harris do? While America's cities were burning, Kamala was defending peaceful protest. She raised millions to help bail rioters out of jail and supported defunding our police, making us all less safe. Kamala Harris is dangerous.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
This election is about two very different visions for our nation. One focused on the future, and the other focused on the past. When the middle class is strong, America is strong. Lowering the cost of living will be a defining goal of my presidency. I'll lower the cost of insulin and prescription drugs for everyone, and I will work to pass passed the first ever federal ban on price gouging on food. More than 100 million Americans will get a tax cut. We will end America's housing shortage by building 3 million new homes and rentals that are affordable for the middle class. Together, we will build an economy where everyone can compete and have a real chance to succeed. Now is the time to chart a new way forward.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Be the scariest house in the block this Halloween at Menards. You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, Hurricane Helene has all but destroyed parts of Florida, the Carolinas, and other parts of the Southeast. Now, Hurricane Milton is making its way across the Gulf to Florida. It's reported that it is now a powerful Category 5 storm less than 3 days after it developed in the Gulf of Mexico. Milton's wind speeds reached 175 miles an hour this morning, with gusts up to 200 miles an hour.
We signed an executive order declaring a state of emergency yesterday. We now have 51 Florida counties that are in that executive order. We do the standard stuff so people can prepare, our state resources, local governments.
Forecasters with the National Hurricane Center predict the storm will strike Florida's western Gulf course in the middle of the week, likely later Wednesday or very early Thursday. Now, sandbag sites are starting to open as some residents prepare to ride out the storm while others try to evacuate. Governor DeSantis said this could become the largest evacuation since Hurricane Irma, where nearly 7 million people fled their homes. And Alex, I understand that those wind speeds have actually gone up as the hurricane strengthened.
Yeah, unfortunately they have. Armand and I were talking about that during the bit of that package there. Wind speeds now sustained at 180 miles per hour. Get this, gust to 220 miles per hour. This puts us right up there. Milton is one of the strongest hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean basin. And we're trained as meteorologists on hurricane science. One thing I want to impart here, when you look at a hurricane, if it has a very circular shape, very symmetrical, it's usually an indication of a very strong hurricane. Also, if the eye itself is very small and concentric, that's the same as thinking of a figure skater that's twisting and then pulling their arms in. That means the rotation is faster, and that's what's happening right now with this rapid intensification with Milton. And a hurricane is simply just one large heat engine out there. Here's the forecast, as Armand was mentioning earlier, moving as a formidable 5 into the Gulf. It weakens some as it heads towards the coastline, as it enters what we call upper-level shear that has a tendency to tear hurricanes apart. I'll explain in just a moment. But as it moves into the Gulf, it's expected to get larger. So even though it may strike the coast with winds at Category 3, Category 4 strength, the storm surge potential very likely will not go down because of the size of that hurricane. This is what a hurricane needs: warm sea surface temperatures. At the 6 o'clock newscast, I'll be mentioning how warm the Gulf is, minimal land impacts, and then winds, again, those upper level winds high up. The hurricanes don't favor those, and when you get those, it can tear the storm apart. Nothing like that here in southern Wisconsin. 62 expected at 6 o'clock. By the time Jacob joins you for the 10 o'clock newscast, 51 degrees. We have a frost advisory in Juneau and Adams counties. Little frost potential north of Madison as we see future track temperatures getting into the upper 30s, mid 30s in some of those low-lying areas, low 40s for the rest of southern Wisconsin. We'll do about 70 in Madison, 72 in Janesville. So any frosty conditions tomorrow morning, gone with that. That will all melt away to the north of Madison. Low 70s near the Mississippi River. Normal high is about 64 degrees for this time of year. So our temperatures climb, though, as we move through the week. We'll go all the way up to 81. Get that, 81 on Friday. Saturday and Sunday, temperatures in the 60s behind a cold front that's going to bring just a slight chance of showers over the weekend. We cool down a little bit, and the roller coaster ride takes us back up to 70 by the end of next week. I do want to leave us here with the potential for a viewer photo. Do I have one? I do. Get your phone out there. Armand, look at this one right here from Cobb, west of Madison. Rita's sending us the northern lights that impacted portions of southern Wisconsin and much of the northern hemisphere. Thanks, Rita, for sending us this stunning photo. And all you got to do is scan that QR code. Links are right up to channel3000.com. And then we can show the pictures.
Beautiful. All right, Alex, thank you. And it might be time to get the blankets and sweaters ready. After the break, we look into your heating bills going up and by how much.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Fentanyl is killing over 1,000 people a year in Wisconsin. New reporting shows that Eric Hovde is doing business with a bank accused of links to the Mexican drug cartel. Banco Azteca loaded up $26 million in cash and flew it to Eric Hovde's bank in California. Other U.S. banks have cut ties with this Mexican bank, but Eric Hovde took their money. That's 26 million more reasons you can't trust Eric Hovde.
Sometimes the smallest cracks can cause the biggest chills. This fall, watch out for The Draft.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Think Sloan's first.
You know, the big thing about Sloan's is the ease of doing business. They make everything simple. We choose Sloan's and John Deere because we have availability of equipment, quality service, quality parts, and they have the ability to keep us up and running.
Gear up for fall savings time is on now at Sloan Implement. Get your John Deere Z530M with 1.9% for 36 months. Includes your 54-inch mowing deck.
Power up with Sloan's. Think Sloan's first.
Our retirement savings account is safe because we made the switch to a Medicare supplement plan. We had Medicare Advantage, but had seen too many friends give up the things they love due to unexpected medical expenses. We found a better way.
Brian Stiles said he's proud of his extreme record, so why is he lying about it? Stiles said he was proud to be part of a group pushing to gut Social Security and Medicare, that he proudly supports abortion bans. And Brian Stiles said he's proud to be backed by extremists pushing a total ban nationwide. Peter Barca's backed by police, firefighters, and unions because Peter puts Wisconsin first, no matter the party, and that's something to be proud of.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Like a bowl of cherries, life in Attic Angel is healthy and sweet. Our independent and assisted living lifestyles include newly renovated apartments, engaging social activities, and wellness support that is tailored to you. As time marches on, we promote the idea that life can always be a bowl of cherries. Attic Angel, the house that angels built.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Well, this winter, heating your home will again cost more. That's according to the National Energy Assistance Directors Association. Reporter Michael Yoshida has more on what you need to know as you try to stay warm this winter.
Home heating costs expected to jump, delivering a winter wallop to wallets across the country.
This is going to be a very difficult winter. All signs point to it being more expensive than last year.
A jump of 10.5% is expected in the U.S. on average. Mark Wolf, executive director with the National Energy Assistance Directors Association, says part of the increase is due to colder temperatures forecast for the Northeast and Midwest. Those who heat with electricity will be hit the hardest, with average costs projected to rise to an average of $1,208, up 13.6%. A big impact is general inflation, along with utilities having to maintain and upgrade the electrical grid.
Many utilities have put these improvements off for a number of years, and now it's catching up.
What about propane or natural gas? Propane users projected to see average costs rise to $1,442, up 7.3%. Natural gas users could see their costs increase to $644, a 7.2% rise. Oil also expected to rise to $1,963, up 6.1%. So what can you do to prepare? Wolf offers this advice. Get your furnace running efficiently ahead of winter. Seal windows and doors for any leaks. Also, try opening curtains and blinds during the day when the sun's out. Another trick, turn the thermostat down.
If it's 70 degrees at night in your house, turn it down to 68, but do it over a course of days. Every 1% you turn it down, you'll save about 1% on your bill.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Speaking of cooler temps, a final check of your first sworn forecast when we return.
I'm a nurse in Wisconsin, and my patients don't want politicians like Eric Hovde making their healthcare decisions.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Hovde means what he says about opposing reproductive rights.
Eric Hovde supported overturning Roe v. Wade, which led to an abortion ban in Wisconsin.
And that's a ban with no exceptions for rape or incest.
What Hovde supports criminalizes abortion and doctors like me.
We need to vote against Eric Hovde.
WIN Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Not everyone knows us, but in Wisconsin, Illinois, and Indiana, we are famous in our field. As a Sloan's technician, customer service is our specialty, whether you come to see us or we come to you. We are in the business of supporting your business, and we are highly trained to work on your John Deere equipment. At Sloan's, our loyalty lies with you. We depend on you, and we are proud to serve you. When it comes to service, you can count on us. Remember, think Sloan's first.
When replacing your windows, you want them to be built by the best and backed by the best. That's what you'll get with replacement windows only available from Renewal by Andersen. When you choose Renewal by Andersen and want to keep remodeling, you're not getting a one-size-fits-all product. From design and sales to manufacturing, installation, and service, we own the entire process. This month only save $377 per window and $777 per patio door, plus 1 year no payment, no interest financing. Visit wannakeremodeling.com for more details.
You don't need to battle addiction alone. Contact the great people at Wood Violet Recovery today. You could be on your way to recovery the same day. Wood Violet Recovery works with a wide range of insurance networks, so a large portion of your treatment may be covered. Wood Violet Recovery will create the treatment plan that best suits your needs. Unlike other rehab facilities, phones and laptops are welcome. Today may feel dark, but there's a brighter tomorrow. Contact Wood Violet Recovery now.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Prices are up, wages are down, inflation is crushing Wisconsin families. Yet Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Even more radical, Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. Tax hikes and higher prices for families and those living on fixed incomes. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme. Reject Sarah Kieski and her radical agenda.
Coming up tonight right here on the CBS Evening News, Hurricane Milton intensifies to Category 5 with winds up to 175 miles per hour. The Florida governor warning today that time is going to start running out for residents to evacuate. We are tracking this dangerous storm and how to prepare for the landfall. That's all tonight here on the CBS Evening News.
Meanwhile, though, we could see some dip in temperatures tonight.
Yeah, actually a little frost not out of the possibility north of Madison, well north of Madison. Juneau and Adams counties, Camp Douglas area, you have a tendency to get a little bit cooler when we have these nights where skies clear out. So not out of the realm of possibility to have a little bit of patchy frost well north of Madison. So pull in those tender plants that you are still growing outside. And then as we carry on beyond tonight, 70s return, 80s by Friday, dry all the way through the end of the week.
All the seasons before the weekend.
Every season.
All right, thank you for joining us. We'll see you after the CBS Evening News.